Welcome to my weekly post. Today we're gonna talk about the technology implementation uh, in the classroom. So there's two models, as we know, the TPAC. I'm gonna call it the TPAC and the design thinking process. So for the case we have Bob, which is a young teacher. He has my same age. I have slightly more um, uh, experience than he does. Also, I'm currently studying a master's degree. He has only a bachelor's. He's been teaching only for 2 years. He comes from a different culture than than I came from. However, the fact that we are both teaching in a different country than our origin can be a reason for us to connect. Now we have a Z or Z, I don't know what his name or how to pronounce his name. He came with an idea of implementing technology of our own choice in order to teach a lesson of our own choice that the two of us have normally been teaching our students. Now, if you can see in my room, I have an Ecuador flag and a United States flag, and behind my head we have a world map. So we know that we have a class of 24 students, and we're gonna be using technology of our own choice. So guess what? I chose study of geography. Now, what design am I gonna choose for this? Well, remember that the design thinking process is more like a problem solving than an implementation of technology. However, it has a lot of similarities with the TPAC. So we're gonna use both designs, or we're gonna implement a few concepts of each model. Now, what do we know about the TPAC? The TPAC gives us the questions about what do you know about the technology that we're going to implement? Are you comfortable in using this technology? Do you believe in the technology to make a difference? And I do think that in this case, for geography, it will make a difference. The relative advantage: how does your technology help your student or the teacher? We're going to talk about that. Objective and assessments: what are your learning objectives? Action, behavior, condition: do your assessment measure your lesson objectives anyways? So we're gonna start solving the problem here. So our classes share the similar demographics, and we're teaching geography to them, right? The piece of technology that I will suggest Bob to use and my students for geography will be their phones. Why? Because everybody's familiar with using their phones. We don't necessarily need um, technical support in the TPAC, like the TPAC process suggests. We don't necessarily um, um, need a strong Wi-Fi in order to create a lesson. Why? Because nowadays most phones come with internet data, so they will have access to Google at least. So, what is the relative advantage that I have using our phones in terms of um, teaching a geography lesson? Simple, very simple to me. When you Google a place, a country, you can actually see the cool places that you can visit. What will be my learning objective? My learning objective is that at least they know where the country is located. Now, what is the difference between using technology in geography and using a piece of paper like this? That in a piece of paper like this, you depend so much on the student's ability to draw. Um, and as the design thinking process suggests, you have to empathize with the students. What if you have a student that doesn't know how to draw properly or doesn't just like how to draw? Also, you can have a student that is more interested on Africa than South America or North America, you know. So implementing this type of strategies, I think, is more inclusive because let's say that everybody in your class, I don't know who doesn't like to go to the beach. Maybe in that 24 group of students is gonna be somebody that doesn't like to go to the beach. But I'm thinking that let's say everybody is interested on visiting the rainforest, so we can say, okay, what are the where is located the uh, what is the southern hemisphere, and where are the tropical rainforests located? Underneath the equator, right? So that means that the equator is over here, so any country behind this line and between this hemisphere and this hemisphere, all of these countries in the world are going to be tropical, meaning that they will have tropical rainforest. So in this case, I'm giving you guys an example of how to use technology to teach a geography lesson, right? This is the equator. The equator will pass countries in South America, Africa, Southern Asia, right? What does that mean? That means that you're gonna find the tropical rainforest in places like South America, Southern Africa, Southern Asia. And this is just one example of how to implement the technology in your classroom. And you can tell your students, okay, we're gonna Google about what is the most dense tropical rainforest in the world. If they Google that, the answer will be Brazil. What is a cool place to visit in Brazil? You know, there's multiple places that you can visit. You can Google pictures, they can see how cool it looks. What kind of animals are in this region? You can enhance the interest in a different way um, in this situation. That way, they will also be interested on traveling into those places and how to get there, how expensive it is, how to travel from the United States to Brazil, or from the United States to Senegal, or to be more simple, Africa, how to travel from the United States to Australia. So, the TPAC process gives a good explanation on how to prepare the learning environment, on how to evaluate and revise. Evaluate your success and your failures. In this case, my objective will be that the students know how to place in a map or know uh, where Brazil is, for instance. I wouldn't be too worried about them knowing what language, what is the monetary currency exchange, things like that. Those things can be taught later on their lives. The most important thing at this moment in their lives is that they get interested in a topic that is more relevant to them, you know, visiting other places, see places that you cannot see in the United States, things like that. And I think that's empathizing with the students, that's prototyping, trying to uh, implement the technology into our teaching lesson without getting them bored, without letting them get prejudice on one continent or another. It's just a way of including them into their own interest. Like, for instance, somebody will say, "Oh, I like soccer a lot." Well, there's multiple countries that play really good soccer. Argentina is one of them. England is one of them. So empathizing with their hobbies is also another good strategy. I hope this will answer your questions, and I'm looking forward to look into your answers as well. Have a good one.